One thing is certain. The city has a unique vibe where every corner can hide a new desire and every night can be an unforgettable story. And the most interesting part, no one cares about tomorrow. What matters here is the now. Get ready to dive into Liverpool's nightlife, where music, freedom, and desire come together in one place. Between bars full of history and endless parties, the city reveals an unexpected and provocative side, where pleasure is experienced without filters and without guilt. Are you ready to uncover the most irreverent side of Liverpool? The Cavern Club. The Cavern Club. The name itself is a legend. In any other place, it would just be another bar. But in Liverpool, this place means so much more. It's here where the Beatles started their journey, and to this day, the magic of music fills the air. Upon entering, you immediately feel the city's energy. It's not just about the music, it's about a legacy. The Cavern is one of the most authentic hangouts, where the rebellious and creative spirit of Liverpool lives intensely. When night falls and the doors of the Cavern Club open, the streets around it become a parade of people in search of something more. The sound of distorted guitars and the contagious rhythm dominate the environment, and soon you realize, in Liverpool, music is not just a soundtrack, it is the pulse of the city. Here, people aren't just listening, they are living the music, surrendering to it as a collective experience. Every note seems to connect you more deeply with what's happening there. But the Cavern Club is not just about the past. It's the fine line between what was and what is yet to come. Every day, new bands perform, continuing the legacy of creative freedom that Liverpool represents. And in the midst of this, flirts, connections, and of course, that sexual vibe that never falls behind. The Cavern is where it all happens: music, desire, and perhaps an unforgettable night with someone you just met. As the night drags on and the guitar noise mixes with laughter and conversation, you realize that Liverpool is not just about drinking or dancing. It's about feeling the music viscerally, about losing yourself in the sound and finding something more. And in the end, the Cavern Club is not just a club, but a living testament to how music and the night in Liverpool are always an invitation to pleasure and freedom. If the Cavern Club is the musical heart of Liverpool, Concert Square is the epicenter of fun. Here, the youth of Liverpool gather to drink, dance, and get lost in the night. No matter the time of year, Concert Square is never empty. The bars are always packed, the music is always lively, and the energy seems to always be high. This is the place where social rules are left behind, where people surrender to the moment, and where desire is in the air, waiting to be lived. The sense of freedom in Concert Square is something you won't find anywhere else. Between cool bars and crowded dance floors, the atmosphere is always one of celebration, excitement, and euphoria. But what makes this place even more fascinating is how people's behavior transforms. Flirting becomes instinctive, the glances are bolder, and bodies move closer naturally. Alcohol helps, of course, but what really motivates is the desire to connect, to live the night without worrying about tomorrow. And in Concert Square, anything can happen. There's no room for hesitation. Interactions here are fast, intense, and direct. It's the perfect place for anyone seeking a night without ties, where encounters don't need big explanations. You might start the night with a simple hi and end up with something completely unexpected. Sexual freedom and bold desires are accepted without judgment, creating an atmosphere where everyone is there to enjoy, have fun, and let the night unfold the way it should. But what makes Concert Square even more unique is its ability to bring people from all walks of life together. Liverpool may be a city with a great musical and historical heritage, but in Concert Square, the only thing that matters is immediate pleasure and living in the moment. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Here, everyone is after the same thing: fun, pleasure, and, of course, another night to remember or forget. In Concert Square, the night is meant to be lived to the fullest. The streets of Liverpool at night are not just paths to bars and clubs. They become a fertile ground for casual encounters and quick flirts. As you walk through them, you'll notice something unusual. No one is in a hurry, but everyone seems to be waiting for something, or rather, for someone. Glances cross easily, bodies move closer naturally, and in a matter of minutes, you're already engaged in an intense conversation. There are no rules for what happens here. Desire is lived without hesitation, and spontaneity is key. In Liverpool, the interaction on the streets is almost like an extension of the nightlife happening in the bars and clubs. If you're looking for a quick flirt or something more, the streets offer an environment where authenticity and desire blend irresistibly. Here, what matters is not how long you've known someone, but the intensity with which things happen. There's no shame, no ceremony, just people seeking immediate pleasure. And often, that's exactly what they find. The streets of Liverpool are a stage for the most uncomplicated encounters. Flirting, for example, happens very directly. A look, a smile, and you could be sharing a kiss or perhaps having a no-strings-attached meeting. Alcohol helps loosen inhibitions, but it's the local culture of openness and acceptance that truly allows people to surrender to the night with total freedom. Nothing is forced. Everything happens organically, and suddenly you find yourself living a story that, just hours before, seemed impossible. It doesn't matter if you're on a busy street near Concert Square or in a quieter alley. The streets of Liverpool become a game of desires where everyone is ready to play. The feeling is the same on every corner. The city pulses with the possibility of something new, something unexpected. And the best part? There's no regret. What happens on the streets of Liverpool stays there, without weight, without judgment, just the promise of another night where pleasure is the only certainty. The women of Liverpool aren't afraid to stand out. Unlike many cities where women are more reserved or restricted, in Liverpool they dominate the night with courage and attitude. From the crowded bars of Concert Square to the most exclusive clubs, the women here know exactly what they want and aren't afraid to go after it. The night is theirs, and no one stops them from living pleasure without filters. They set the pace, control the game, and with a look can turn the night upside down. Confidence is key to understanding the behavior of women in Liverpool's nightlife. They know how to dress, how to behave, and above all, how to have fun without excuses. Here, there's no fear of being judged. The women of Liverpool embrace their sexual freedom with a defiant attitude, always ahead of the curve. There's no room for shyness or insecurity. Desire is lived fully, and what happens during the night is just another story of empowerment and fun. And the most interesting part? In Liverpool, women know how to balance confidence with sensuality. They don't need much to stand out. A bold look, a confident smile, and an attitude of someone who's there to live in the moment. It doesn't matter if they're in a pub, on the dance floor, or on the streets of the city. They are imposing, and at the same time, they know how to be light. The desire they awaken is a combination of power and pleasure, without compromise. The behavior of Liverpool's women is a reflection of a city that values and respects them. They have complete freedom to explore their wants and desires without the burden of social judgment that we see in other parts of the world. And this makes Liverpool's nightlife even more vibrant and full of energy. Pleasure is not something to be hidden or repressed. It's something to be lived with courage, attitude, and, above all, without fear of showing the world who you are. In Liverpool, casual sex is not just common. It's an integral part of the city's nightlife. There's no room for judgment, nor for regret. What happens in the streets, bars, and nightclubs stays there, without moral weight. The encounter doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't have to be complicated. In Liverpool, casual sex is uncomplicated, quick, and made for those who want to have fun without ties. Here, desire is experienced naturally, where the only thing that matters is the pleasure of the moment, with no worries about tomorrow. On the streets of Liverpool, sexual behavior is free. What begins as a flirt in the bars or on the sidewalks can quickly turn into something more intense. There's no pressure to please or commit. People surrender to desire with the same ease as they surrender to music, alcohol, or any other fun. Casual sex here is the celebration of the body and pleasure without the constraints that other cultures still impose. It's an experience that can be lived without shame or taboos. And the most interesting part is that in Liverpool, casual sex is not seen as something superficial or disposable. It's simply another form of connection, a genuine expression of desire. In an environment where sexual freedom is embraced, encounters are simple but intense, and what truly matters is the shared pleasure in the moment. There's no fear of social judgment, no space for guilt. Pleasure is lived without reservations, without the weight of outdated morality that keeps many from surrendering to these moments. The casual sex culture in Liverpool is uncomplicated because the people here know what they want. They're not afraid to explore their desires, and they do so without the restrictions you might find in other parts of the world. The streets, the bars, the clubs, everything in Liverpool invites this type of experience. The city becomes a playground for those seeking the freedom to live pleasure fully and without shame. After all, in Liverpool, pleasure is meant to be lived in the present, and consequences never arrive. When the sun rises over Liverpool, the city wakes up with a different energy. The streets still echo with the remnants of the previous night, but the feeling is completely different from the pressure or shame that other places might feel after a night of excess. In Liverpool, the hangover doesn't come with remorse. On the contrary, it's a lazy smile as you walk through the streets, remembering the previous night with a sense of accomplishment. What happened during the night was lived, and nothing else matters. The freedom of the night is still felt in the early hours of the next day. The afternight in Liverpool has something peculiar. While many cities view the hangover with a certain negative weight, here it's celebrated as part of the process. In the cafes and bistros around the city, groups of friends gather, discussing everything that happened in the last few hours without fear of laughing, sharing, or even feeling a bit of shame, but in a light, uncomplicated way. No one is here to justify themselves. The pleasure experienced during the night is more present than any feeling of regret. And the best part? In Liverpool, the hangover is not seen as a mistake. It's simply a consequence of the fun. The streets may be quieter, the heads heavier, but the energy is still there. The city never really rests, and the freedom lived during the night doesn't disappear with the dawn. On the contrary, it reinvents itself with every new encounter, every new person you meet. And in the end, it doesn't matter how you feel physically. What matters is that the night was exactly as it should have been, without regrets. So, while the city of Liverpool reignites for another day, those who lived the previous night know that deep down, it was just another part of the journey. There's no rush to leave, no space for regret. The night in Liverpool is meant to be lived with intensity, and if you do so without reservations, the next day will just be a reminder of how free you felt in the past hours, and that's all that matters.